What's up, guys? We are back at the screen. It is Sunday, new month. I was gone for a week-long holiday to Dubai, which is always good. Was able to recharge, even though I traded almost every day. Wasn't optimal. Still had a pretty good week, pretty good month as well. Didn't end the month the way I'd like to, but still ended it in a profit of around 2%, which is okay. It's obviously not great, but it's okay. I mean, a profit is still a profit, and it accumulates over time. So that's good. That's good. We're still keeping drawdowns in check. And my win rate was pretty good. It was 44%, which is good. Which is a good win rate for me. So let's have a look at a couple of charts, see what trades are open, see what I'm looking at for next week. But before we do that, I just want to have a quick look at Bitcoin, because obviously a lot of people are thinking, well, what's the deal with crypto? What's the deal with Bitcoin? Right now, it's not doing much. It is currently forming a rectangle. Actually, before we get into this, before we get into the charts, I want to go over something else quickly, because I'm looking at this and I'm seeing the head and shoulder top, the potential head and shoulder top, which made me think of something I just posted below Jason Shapiro's latest video on YouTube. Do check him out. I mean, he's an incredible trader. I have a ton of respect for the guy. I mean, it's just, I mean, obviously he's a market wizard. I wouldn't even pretend to even just with regards to everything, right? Knowledge, performance. I am not even, you can't even mention me in the same breath. I mean, I'm saying this with the utmost respect and humility. So do not get this wrong. But he posted a video of which the title is The Technical Analysis Trap. Can you trust charts, or is it all random? Do check the video out, but basically he goes over a chart and he tells you that he's had a technical analysis friend of his look at the chart and see if he could find any patterns and how he would potentially trade this chart, right? But then it turns out it's not actually a chart of a financial instrument. It is a chart of coin flips, right? And how they turn out. And coin flips are obviously random, meaning this price chart is completely random, but you can still see classical chart patterns like an inverse head and shoulder, like a channel, like ascending and descending triangles, etc. Support, resistance, which is weird, right? You can't have support for something that is completely random in outcome. And he seems to suggest that therefore, because you can apply it to everything, technical analysis doesn't work. Now, and I actually replied to the video as well. And while it is a fair point, I mean, you can actually draw lines on anything, right? And you can call it a pattern. But that's kind of a reductionist argument, because you're saying that is all that technical analysis is, right? We're also completely, just for the sake of argument, ignoring the vast amount of classical chartists who are consistently profitable trading these patterns. So we're just ignoring those guys for a second, because they are obviously the easiest way to prove that it can work, but they are also excellent proof for why technical analysis is much more than just recognizing patterns. Because where proper technical analysis stands apart isn't just in recognizing those patterns. That's the easy part, right? You can recognize those patterns. A fucking monkey can recognize them. It's in how you position, and the most important factor is how you manage risk around those patterns, because markets are mostly random, and that's exactly why having a framework helps create some structure in the chaos. So spotting a head and shoulders might give you 50-50 odds. They actually give you slightly better odds than 50-50, but what makes it useful is the invalidation level. And I've said this countless of times. If you're trading a classical chart pattern, you're not just using it as an entry, right? You also use the invalidation level that comes with the pattern. You also use the potential take profit target that comes with the pattern. And using both the take profit target and the stop loss, the invalidation level, gives you over time, spread out over enough trades, gives you a meaningful edge if you apply it the right way. Because it just gives you a clear point to manage risk effectively. And that's, again, where the real edge comes in. I mean, I'm European, so I don't know anything about football, but it's kind of like a football playbook. Or even a basketball playbook, right? Anyone can draw routes on a whiteboard and tell players where to run, but executing that play on the field requires timing, strategy, and adapting to what for instance, defense throws at you. So the play itself doesn't guarantee a touchdown, but it gives the team a structure to operate within. And it's not that different than people using moving average or other indicators. Again, it's mostly random. And of course, you can use fundamentals. You can use whatever you want. Just use the things that work for you, that align with your personality, with your goals. But regardless of the system you use, the way you manage risk around that system, around that framework, is the most important part. And you can, again, that's why I think it's a reductionist argument. You can't just talk about technical analysis and only mention the chart patterns without mentioning the rest of the framework people who trade this way use. So yeah, I think that is really important to understand. It's not just about the patterns. It's about structuring trades so that when you're wrong, it doesn't cost you much, and when you're right, it really pays off. All right. So with that said, let's move on. Bitcoin is just at this point doing pretty much nothing, right? It's just moving sideways, which is kind of boring. And people will go nuts during times like these. If you decide to just ignore technical analysis for a second, because obviously a lot of people think it is bullshit, let's just go by fundamentals, right? The market prices in stuff and discounts stuff, right? And I don't think everybody knows everything at the same time. News is spread out to people gradually, and the more important, or the more important the news, the bigger the news, the bigger the impact on price, usually, right? During a bull market, positive news just skyrockets price. Negative news is just shrugged off. In a bear market, it's the exact opposite. Any kind of negative news will just nuke price even further down, unfortunately. And good news is just shrugged off because the general market sentiment is just bearish. People don't care. People don't believe in anything. However, and I've said this, I think, in the previous video, but I'll say it again. People are still pretty bullish crypto because, again, they think they know there's a pro-crypto president right now in the United States. But the most bearish thing you can have, in my opinion, is having people be really bullish, be in an actual bull market, because we're still in a bull market. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like we're in a bear market or anything. We're obviously still in a bull market. Indices are still above their 200-day moving averages. They're still on a higher time frame uptrend. And so is Bitcoin, right? If you look at this chart, I mean, nothing about this screams bearishness. However, if you are in a bull market, an actual bull market, which we are, and there's probably the best fucking news you can get. I mean, guys, the leader of the free world is pro Bitcoin, is pro crypto. There's even, it was even suggested that Bitcoin will be added to the United States Treasury. I don't know if that was just a rumor spread on X, but I've seen this. I've read this on X. I don't know if it's true, but I've seen it. And price does absolutely nothing. Right? That's bearish. To me, that is pretty damn bearish. Probably as bearish as it can get. However, price is not really doing much. So price hasn't confirmed that my bearishness is correct. I always want both price and feeling for direction. I want price to confirm that my feeling for direction is correct. I'm not going to be the one who thinks, well, you know, I'm bearish, so now I'm just going to be shorting. If I'm bullish, I'm not just going to be buying. I need something. I need some sort of confirmation. So right now, I'm just looking at this. It is a rectangle forming. So we can play this both ways. If it breaks upwards, I will be a buyer. If it breaks downwards, I will simply be a seller. So there's not much going on, but just keep in mind that if you are in a bull market and positive news comes out and price does nothing, it is reason for concern. I posted last week or 2 weeks ago that I thought Nvidia was topping. I still think Nvidia top, but we'll see. We'll see. I mean, if you look at the Nvidia chart, it is just a massive uptrend, right? I would regard this as a very important base. Once we break out, we get into new bull market territory. Then we get a first base here. Then we get a second base here, and then you get a third base here. But this third base is really loose. I mean, it is a 40% price difference. While that isn't a problem per se, it usually the more bullish bases that form are tighter. They're like this, right? They're tighter bases. This to me is very loose. Now, while you could say this is one base and then this is another, making them both a little tighter, I don't see it that way. I don't see it that way. If we test these lows here again, come back up, that would confirm this to be the base. If we don't tap the lows on Nvidia and start trading back up, I could see this obviously running higher, maybe a lot higher. But I don't know. Just my feeling is telling me this is the top on Nvidia. Now I know that it's risky to call it top on probably the strongest asset in the market of the last 1,000 years. But yeah, that is my current view of Nvidia. So if Nvidia tops, being one of the market leaders of the last few years, and we got so much economic distress, right? Things are happening all over the place with the tariffs on Canada, on China, Mexico. I'm not going to sit here and talk about fundamentals or macroeconomics because that is not my strong suit. But there's just a lot of uncertainty happening. So keep that in mind. Anyway, I am a long Allianz. Really simple play, ascending triangle, which I really like. The stock has been in a very nice uptrend, which is what you want to see when you're playing the ascending triangle as a continuation pattern. We got the highs, we got the lows tapped. Lows are sloping up, which is obviously the case with an ascending triangle. I was a buyer at a buy stop here, and now we're just in this trade. I took half off already, as the open profit on this trade was 1% of the portfolio, and I am now trailing the stop, not automatically, but just manually watching this price. I think I'll close if we get a daily close underneath or below the 8-day moving average, which is something I like to use. So yeah, well, we'll see. The target is 328. Not sure we're going to get it, although European stocks have been moving very well. If we get some uncertainty hitting the markets, because there's also the talks of hitting Europe with tariffs, I don't know, things can move pretty aggressively against you. So I'll be keeping a close watch for the week ahead. Yeah, Euro Stoxx 50 has been really, really moving nicely. This was a big trade. It's moving within a channel, trending upwards. Again, these are just charts telling you, screaming at you, we're obviously in an uptrend, right? There's just no way you can say we're not in a bull market. And we've been seeing these. Jesus Christ! This trend line has been tapped and has been acting as resistance for a long time. April 2024. So we get the high here, almost here. Broke out, got long with a buy stop order. Now we're just we're in it. We're in it to win it, guys. My stop is below this candle here, which has been moved up. So the trade is in good profit. And with this too, I'm just using the 8-day moving average. Once the market opens, I will probably move my stop to this candle here, kind of depending how we open, because we've closed pretty much pretty near to this low. So I'll probably start off with the stop here for the week ahead. I also got along Google, same play as Allianz. A lot of these charts, you'll be seeing a lot of ascending triangles, not because it is my favorite chart pattern, but a lot of continuation patterns are just happening right now, and it is a great continuation pattern. A continuation pattern because we're simply in an uptrend. So if you want to keep playing the uptrend and you don't want to randomly buy a stock or a crypto or any other asset, you have to wait for price action to develop, for a chart pattern to develop, which is an actionable chart pattern, which in this case is the ascending triangle. So I am long Google. My stop is quite wide. It's all the way down here. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. It's below the weekly candle. Oh. That is Google. That is Google. I am also long coffee, because we are in a we broke out of a huge level. This high here is from May 1977, which is a long time ago, right? So we get this massive high here, got it here again, almost hit it here again. Now we've clearly broken out of this, right? We didn't close the month out of this level, through this level. Then here we didn't close out of the high either. But in this high, this month is just, well, not this month, previous month, sorry, January. We did. So this was a very important close. But I got long at the break of this structure here, which could kind of be considered a cup without a handle. Very narrow cup, but it is a nice continuation pattern you can play when a stock or when an asset is in an uptrend. So I had a buy stop at this level, which means I am in this trade. It is in a good profit. So yeah, that is coffee. Gold already took half off of this trade as well. Continuation pattern once again. I do have to reiterate that I only have a lot of these continuation patterns because a lot of markets are trending up, and it is always my preference to trade with the trend. That's not my preference. I actually only trade with the trend. Once we actually start breaking down, multiple assets are trading below their 200-day moving averages, then I'll be looking at potential bigger shorts. But right now, I'm not. Although I am into two crypto shorts, but we'll go over those after this one. I think I've already went over this trade, continuation pattern in the form of a symmetrical triangle. I did not long the breakout out of the triangle. I got in the trade with a buy stop after the break of this high, started the initial stop here. I would like to add to this trade. My target is slightly higher up. I don't think we'll get a daily. I don't think we'll get another continuation pattern forming on a daily, but I think we will get one on the hourly. But we'll have to wait and see. I could have entered here somewhere, but this candle here wasn't a meaningful thrust candle out of this structure here. Which is the reason I didn't buy a retest to add to this trade. So I'm currently still in the main position and not doing anything as of yet. I am short two crypto coins, two altcoins. Although I would prefer to be long these coins, I am short Solana. Because of this descending triangle forming here, I'm not a huge fan of this pattern. I don't even think it is. I wouldn't actually regard this probably as a descending triangle. I mean, you can, but it doesn't really jump out at me. If these lows here would have been at the same level as these lows, it would have been much better to me. But still, these lows are meaningful regardless of if you want to consider this a pattern or not. Imagine you just remove this, right? Remove the trend line. You got the horizontal level here. This was an important high. These highs were important, acted as resistance. We flip it into support, and then support is broken. And this break here, especially also on the daily, is meaningful to me, right? This is break of microstructure. This is still obviously a high. This is still a low. So we still have a higher low compared to this. So we're still kind of in bullish market structure. I mean, not kind of. This is still bullish market structure. But yeah, it's a little frothy to me. So I took the trade. It's not a high probability nor a high conviction trade, but my target is going to be tapping this low at around 168. And then we have HBAR, which is also a nice pattern, very strong coin as well. Started forming an ascending triangle, which was the reason I wanted to be long this market. But then the pattern failed. I would like to see the day close below this low here. So I am going to add an alert just to make sure it does, because that would be a reason to potentially add to the trade. Ideally, you also close below this low. That would be even better. But yeah, if we get through those lows, I mean, it's a lot of inefficiency here. We could find support around here somewhere. But we'll see. It kind of depends on the broader market. It depends on risk appetite for the week ahead. It depends on Bitcoin. That's also a fair point, right? I think somebody else responded to Jason Shapiro's video saying, the fact that you just look at a single chart and trade it as is without thinking or without considering the rest of the market is also kind of weird, which is true. So you always keep it in the back of your mind, but I think it pays to just adhere to a system and just trade the chart that is in front of you, just the way you play the hand that you're dealt if you're playing poker. So yeah, those are the trades I'm currently in. Still waiting for, oh shit, this gap down as well. Still waiting for this big short to play out on Euro Yen, which I've already went over quite a few times, so I won't do that again. But I think this will be a very nice trade that is currently setting up. I already went over this trade as well in previous videos. This kind of looks like Bitcoin, right, in the sense that it is a rectangle forming, quite a narrow rectangle forming. You can play it both ways. Obviously, sorry, I was just listening what was happening. Obviously, these targets aren't set in stone. I'm not going to sit in this trade and wait until the actual target is hit. If it decides to reverse, it's just a level that I'm watching as a potential target. Japan, the Nikkei was also forming a rectangle, which then turned into an ascending triangle because the lows are gradually gaining ground. So sellers are or buyers are willing to step in at higher prices, which is bullish. And a lot of Japanese individual stocks are also setting up really nice for the week ahead. So I am, gun to my head, if I had to flip a coin, well, no, not if I had to flip a coin, gun to my head, I would say this market is going to break up the week ahead. So I have a buy stop at 47.27, which is obviously Japanese yen and not USD. So I have a buy stop at this level, and I will target around 43,000 yen. Yeah, this is annoying because with the fucking tariffs and everything, I really wanted to play this. But yeah, I obviously didn't get it because I messed up. As you can see, wanted too long, just didn't get to it, didn't take the trade, and it's running quite nicely now. So nice. If you got it, happy for you. Already went over this trade as well. Think we'll probably see the same thing happening as what we're seeing on the dollar Canadian, probably. Again, man, the tariffs and stuff, it's scaring people. Stuff is happening. Watch yourself in these markets, but willing to buy dollar against the Chinese yuan when this breaks out. Weed is not important right now. I bought this stock as well. Boy Gaming, it is kind of messed up. It opened pretty nice. I like this stock for multiple reasons. High insider ownership. Well, these are details I probably should not and don't want to go over. It's a lot of details, and it's just going to assume probably too many things. In a sense that I'm going to have to assume the average viewer knows all these things or knows what I'm talking about. I'm trying to keep this kind of light. So I'll skip this for now. Yeah, so if you haven't subscribed to this channel, I'm hoping you will do so after this video. Like this video if you actually like it, or if you just want to cut me some slack and like the video, I'd appreciate it. Leave a comment if you can, always helpful, just a nice or a GG or whatever. Appreciate you guys. Watch your asses for the weeks to come. I think it's going to be volatile. Just be careful, man. Again, be careful. If you're thinking markets cannot go down or just absolutely slaughter you, they can. They can. Doesn't mean you have to be bearish. Just play the markets that are in front of you, and don't hope. Don't just pray and hope for the best, right? That's not what traders do. And I'll talk to you guys next week.